Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Probably it's a very rare occasion that I get to address all men and boys. So I must thank you all for your presence here this morning, and I'm sure you're all excited as I am to see what the day unfolds for us. The board chair, Ms. Julie Cheng, Executive Director, Transit Oceania, and the Vasilevu Director Programs, staff of Transit Oceania, the facilitators, participants, our media partners, once again, Nisambula Vinaka, and a very good morning to you. I just picked out from the introduction, of course, I'm a Westerner, been an educator all my life, dealing with children, and of course, after joining politics, I came to become aware of more deep issues that our nation is currently facing. Not that domestic violence is new to me. I have publicly mentioned, of course, I've been a victim of domestic violence, and I would never wish any family, any woman, and any child to go through domestic violence. Yes, you did mention my grandson, and when you have children and when you progress or you get promoted to being a grandmother, of course, the love for the children becomes more. So I would wish that no family suffers from domestic violence. I would wish and pray that no child suffers from domestic violence. And of course, the topic today is violence against women and girls. I'm not denying the fact that men are not victims of domestic violence. Some men are. But today, we are going to talk about why it is important, or how can we go about together with the missing link. You are the missing link, men and boys. No? You are blamed for inflicting violence on women. You are blamed for having that masculine attitude that says, okay, I'm a boy, I'm a man, I'm strong, and I can do anything. Well, times are changing, and we need to change that. For us in the Pacific, it's a very shameful data that we have at hand. When I sit at conferences and Fiji's name comes up, I raise my head with great pride. Oh, I'm a Fijian. But whenever they mention that Fiji stands highest in the Pacific in terms of domestic violence, I have to hold my head in shame. Okay? And I think we all should be. We all should be concerned, and we all should be trying our level best to see that we do not become one of those persons that inflicts violence. There's no reason for violence. I understand that our Pacific cultures says, oh, men are strong, women are less stronger in what? In character. We may be weaker in strength. We may not be as big as you are. We may not have those muscles that you need, but we are strong. We women are strong. Pacific women are strong in character, and now we share your spaces equally. Gone are the days when men would dominate the spaces, whether it's work, career, professionals in all spaces of life. So again, let's start with giving ourselves a big pat on our backs, and let's thank Transit Oceania for having this round of consultations where you are on the table. We need you on the table. You know, we say we need to put women on the table to discuss women's issue, but here is an issue where you should be at the center. And I must thank you, and I must acknowledge you for your support, for taking your time out. I know most of you are professionals, especially our young men here. You are a hope. I think with the other generations, we've lost hope, because violence continues to occur. So you are our hope. You can be our ambassadors for violence against women and girls. So, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that one training has already been held in the North, and I look forward to hearing from you about the outcomes of the Northern workshop. And today, we have a group of 35 young men and boys. I don't know why didn't we get the older ones, but we need to have those 50 plus, 60 plus too, because they can share with us the wisdom, all right? And so this is an area that we need to strengthen, and we need also to listen to our men. But let's hear from you today. Keep your workshop very casual. People can come out with what they feel, how they feel it. You may feel strongly that, oh, women need to be beaten because they don't listen to us, but then you need to have a good rationale behind it. Why do you think that? Did you learn it from home, that you have such strong conviction? I grew up with that, so I believe no to violence, right? You may have grown up not knowing what violence is, so you can openly stand and say, no, I think violence is not a problem in our society. But believe me, statistics show otherwise. 71% of women and girls have been beaten and battered at the hands of their partners, intimate partners, husbands, boyfriends, partners. Oh, before I forget, today is Valentine's Day. I see you smile. I wish you all a very, very happy Valentine's Day. Please take back all the love that you have for your families. Best of that. So indeed, it's a pleasure for me to be in the week-long training, and I hope this week is going to be a very exciting one for all of you. And this is happening at a time when we as a government, we as a ministry, are taking a whole of government approach. We don't want to leave anybody. We want to hear everybody's views. And my director of women was telling me that we welcome you to be part of our national awareness campaign. NAP, that's what we call it. At one time, domestic violence was just taken segments, part by part. But now, because we are taking a whole of government approach, we are going throughout the country. We have 14 sectors, I believe, which includes, I believe, the military personnel are here, reps are here, the police is here. If they're not here, we will welcome them later on. But we are sorry, I don't know who's who, but we are including everybody in our discussion. NGOs, families, faith-based organizations, our media partners, our various government agencies, so that we are able to come up with a national action plan. And that plan will tell us how we are going to reduce, if not altogether stop. It's a behavioral problem. We will not change it. It's a behavioral problem. And there's always going to be some resistance from some members of the community. But I'm glad we have all our partners on board. And I know my former minister also supported this organization, and I'm glad that I'm going to contribute to my part. So I really just want to just talk about what I've experienced through these various ministries. It's a cross-cutting issue. The health is there, education is there, poverty is there. The various factors that lead to domestic violence, we want to know it. What is it that triggers men to lash out? Not only lash out, but to cause pain and violence and injury and death, even death. And in the very setting, the home setting, where you have you have vowed to protect your own woman, your own girls, and your own children. The greatest impact of domestic violence, ladies and gentlemen, is on children. It's on children. And many women, we have found out that they stay in a physically violent relationship is because of the children. Well said. Why? Because they don't have the means to go out and look after them. Where's the money? The money is coming from men. That's a traditional way of thinking, I believe. The man earns the money, the man runs the household. So the woman thinks, if I take my children, my mother used to contemplate this. We know very well how many times she called us in a corner, today we're going to run away. But she couldn't. Who was going to look after her? Where was that support going to come from? Where the finances come from? Raising a family is not easy. But why does it become the responsibility of the woman to take charge of the children? The man is an equal partner to that. So those are some of the values that we want to say. Partnership. Family life is a partnership. Relationship is a partnership. And what do we want? We want families to grow up having respectful relationships. You must respect each other. If that is missing, well, that's what's missing. That's why one feels he's superior to the other. If we develop that respect for each other, I'm sure to some extent we'll be able to do it. Before you lift your hand, oh, this is the woman I love. She's the mother of our children. Men will think. And boys, you need to whichever organizations you come from, You might have very small membership, but each person can make a lot of impact on that. And that's what I know you'll be discussing today. You'll be unpacking solutions to this, should I say, a social, what should I say? Social and moral decay of relationship. Walk away from that. We've just said, why is it difficult for men and women to walk away? They love, some of them just have this love and hate kind of relationship. Because our culture teaches that, right? They say, sorry, okay, fine. Think of the children, okay. No, it's not fine. It's not fine. It definitely is not fine, and that's what we must teach our boys and our younger children. Schools, values education. When I was in the Ministry of Health, we used to see women come bruised and battered and beaten and stuff like that. I'm going to give you an example of what happened. Recently, there's this case in Reki. I'm not going to mention all the names and details. We met a man. There was a complaint against a man. And he told one of our officers that, you want this to be another volley case? Wow. He told us openly, what happened in volley, you know. The guy hugged his wife, some family members, and the poor child was watching all that. The poor child watched all that. So this other man, he tells my officers, this is my problem, this is my family problem, and if, leave us alone, otherwise this will be another case of volley. In other words, indirectly he was threatening. I'm going to do what that man did. Sometimes societies hail those perpetrators as heroes. Oh, he kept his woman under control. That's not right. That's why we are saying domestic violence is not your problem. It's everyone's business. And we are doing this to ensure that we stop it before it happens. Stop it before it happens. The system's in place. We have the domestic violence helpline, we have the child helpline, free of charge. If you hear something that's going to trigger or erupt into a violent situation, call these numbers. The police should be there. We have these SOPs with the police. We need the police to be more sensitive towards taking reports from women who are already victimized. I'm not targeting the police, but we need the support mechanisms to be there. So if a woman goes to a police station or calls a police station to report a case, what should happen? Immediately he or she should be considered. Do not humiliate women who go and report. Don't make fun of her. So the government on its part is doing everything. The NGOs on their parts are doing everything. The FBOs are doing everything. Everybody is doing so much. But why are we not seeing a decrease in number? If I give you statistics, during the COVID period last year, we had higher number of cases. What does COVID have to do with that? What does COVID has to do with domestic violence? I'll pose this question. Maybe you can discuss it in your situation. What is COVID? What does anything have to do with domestic violence? Why use COVID as an excuse for domestic violence? So you men think restrictive movement, loss of income could be, and the various other pressures come to you as being the man of the house. But that doesn't mean that you lash out on your woman. That doesn't mean that your children should witness violence in your homes. Everything comes down to attitudes. There are counseling services available, right? There are counseling services available for men who need this counseling. In certain situations, you will need to talk to somebody else. Becomes the ego. It becomes the ego aspect of things coming in. If I go and share my problem with my neighbor, well, what's going to happen? Are you going to become less of a man? No. Same thing with women. If there's problem within the home, you have avenues available. Talk it out and resolve it. So, we talk about masculinity. What makes you masculine? Or we are feminine. Sorry, I don't have muscles here stuff, but what makes you masculine? Your height, your weight, your build, your muscles, your looks, or just because you are a man? Should you be proud of your masculinity? Yes, of course you should be proud. But should you abuse it? Shouldn't. Right? So it doesn't make you more of a man if you show violence. Simple as that. And it doesn't make you any less of a woman if you stand up, if you just become submissive and tolerate violence. It's time to stand up for violence. I mean, I appeal to all the women. It doesn't mean when a man fights you hit him back. It doesn't mean that. But you stand up to it. Everybody has rights. Okay? Tell your man, hey, calm down. Calm down. Walk away. If it has to be one of you walking away, just walk away from the situation. Keep the kids away from that. But then, some of you might say, well, no, I'm a man, I have to do that. Let's look at some of the things that comes here. So the concept of masculinity is a major factor that reinforces male behavior, normalizing, demeaning, and the violent treatment of women. It's just that. It's just masculine. I am a man. You are a woman. So domestic violence doesn't see the status of a woman, the physique of a woman. It just sees women as women. So because you are a man, you think a smaller physique man won't hit a woman? Hey, would he not hit a woman? Hit a woman. So I'm a man. You think a weaker woman will not stand up to you? Stand up to you. So it's just how we are born, right? It's how we are born. So many men enjoy maintaining their dominant masculine role in their personal relationships. And this is expressed through the violent actions at times. I'm not saying all men are violent. I'm not saying all men are violent. The hundreds and thousands and millions of men who are just perfect. There would be a few within you that would give you a bad name. I mean, some of you here may not have experienced violence. Some of you may not have seen violence in a family. Some of you may not have raised your voices. Raising of voices is another way of intimidating a woman. When you talk, hey, chup, what, chup, chup, bro. That's a good one. When a woman starts to talk, what do the men say? Chup. Threatening, that's an intimidating behavior. I'm sorry, what does it mean? How do you say that in Fijian? No. No. Or whichever way. We have different ways. It's just getting close to her. You know, like, okay, getting close to her. That's being intimidating. Don't do all those things. So what I would like to say is the challenge here is for men to repeal the desire for control and instead embrace to support women and eliminate gender-based violence. You are here to support us. You are here to support us, eliminate gender-based violence, or say any other form of violence for that matter. Right? We are your mothers, grandmothers, I won't say wives, aunts, your sisters, daughters, and partners, and wife. Eh? It just has to be wife, okay? And we all need you to be able to listen to our experience and be informed by the radical analysis of issues that affects us. Why us? You believe, I will say you, men believe it is their role as provider to be the main breadwinner. Does it have to be that? It's a shared responsibility. Some of you think just because you earn, you forget about the fact that she looks after your house, cooks and cleans, unpaid labor, looks after your children, goes through childbirth to give you children. So, wait up. Wait up. There should be a balance in that. Okay? And as protectors, you feel it is your job to protect women, and in fact, clearly linked to control. Clearly linked to controlling women. Right? Some again, there are various examples of control, how men control their women. So we want a vision where there is shared responsibility. We want to create a vision where men and women live happily ever after in a shared vision and shared relationship. Simple as that. No one is higher, or no one is superior, no one is inferior. So we are currently looking at what I mentioned before, a national action plan. And this is a whole of the population approach, which you are going to be part of today as well. Right. And I urge my team to be, we'd love to be here to hear your views, and you can say whatever you want to, honestly. I shouldn't go out of the room, even if it goes out of the room, so what? You are chosen to give your views. So what the National Action Plan will do, it is to clearly identify roles and responsibilities of each of the 13 settings consultant to undertake their strategies to help prevent violence. I spoke about the National Domestic Violence Helpline, 1560. It's a free helpline. Please promote this number. This is run by the Fiji Women's Crisis Center, and they update us on things that is reported to them. Today we are also going to see a safe house that the government has invested in partnership with the Soroptimist International. This safe house, you know, when some women are chased out, we get reports. Some women are chased out of the house by the drunken husband or whatever husband, and someone has to leave the setting. So the Western is going to have one home that will be run by, we have yet to decide who's going to run that. So as long as the woman feels safe, does not feel safe in the home, she will be accommodated in the safe house. The children will be looked after there. And of course, I would like to upload all the NGOs that are currently working at finding us shelter for the women. Women's shelter is one thing that's lacking. So we have one in the west now, and hopefully we'll have one shelter in the north and one in the central division. So, like I said, the woman said, where is she going to go? She wants to leave the house, but this is our temporary measure. And another thing that we are doing is education of boys and girls. Girls are getting equal opportunities for education, both at primary, secondary, and tertiary level. What is that for? Education is probably the weapon that is needed to fight this evil again. Through education, we will socially, economically empower our women. She'll be able to earn. But that doesn't mean just because she's earned, she doesn't need a home. She needs a home, she needs a husband, she needs children and stuff like that. But at least she'll become financially independent, stable. She'll have money coming in. And you know, university graduate rates these days show that more women are graduating than boys. So even though we are doing all these things, even though all these things have been done, the situation is still the same. The numbers keep increasing. One of the things you can say about numbers being increasing is women now have more confidence to come out and report. That's why. Some of the cases we receive, reports go back 3 years, this happened to me, and they're coming out and reporting. That shows that they have confidence in probably the laws of our country. They feel that they'll be protected now. So coming back to the systems is put in place, coming to the police, the role of the police. Role of the police, very important. The role of the judiciary is very important. Any punishment meted out for domestic violence should send a warning to others. Yeah? Eventually it stops there. Eh? The perpetrators need to be prosecuted. The punishment, we leave it to the judiciary system. We're not going to interfere with that. But a humble plea is that any punishment meted out, of course it has to be fair, right? Any punishment meted out to offenders of basic human rights, it should send a clear warning. Oh, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to have a 10-year sentence, I'm going to life sentence, or I'm going to get a 20-year sentence. We'll leave it to them. So while we create awareness, the NGOs create awareness, reports are lodged, the final say goes to the judiciary. And some of these cases take a long time. Some of these cases take a really, really long time. So the man and the woman stay in the same house, there's a restraining order. Again, the question of where does she go? She has 5 children, she lives in the same house, there's a restraining order, and over time what happens? you tend to forget and you start. So zero tolerance domestic violence. Court should not offer reconciliation between the couples. But again, some women are not forced to reconcile. Some women just opt to reconcile. What could be the reason? Where does she go? Where does she go? So a lot of factors need to be taken into consideration, and we can improve the situations in our own families. Something very important. The family unit is the best unit to resolve these issues. If it doesn't get resolved, then of course we go to other agencies. So if we grew up the next generation of young boys and girls, I'm including girls as well, with values of respect, with values of care, with values of love, I'm sure half our problem would be solved. If not, then God knows what's going to happen in the next 10, 15 years. Because this is escalating. The numbers are escalating. The rate, the types of crimes committed. You throw something at a woman and she passes away. The child gets injured along. We've had, you must be reading all the media reports, right? Almost on a daily basis. Certain cases go unreported. When a big one gets reported, then everybody starts talking about it. You should start talking about it as well. In your NGO, in your organizations, in your homes, in your organizations. Say no and no to domestic violence against women and girls. Okay, so I'll leave you with that. And I hope your week is a fruitful one, because you've taken time out of your work, your busy schedule. And that's a good step towards understanding gender inequalities. Gender inequalities have been in the society for as long as we know. When we were young boys and girls, it's been there. How boys are treated, how girls are treated. So we can start in our own homes by treating each other with respect, by teaching our children, when I mean our children is the children of Fiji, on how domestic violence impacts them, how it impacts the economy, how it impacts livelihoods, how it impacts relationships, etc. But please don't be one of them that is caught losing your temper, that is caught as a perpetrator. You can be our ambassadors. And I have a dream that one day we will have those shameful statistics. If I say go down, then I'm saying no reporting is happening. Yeah? But if we can have cases reduced within our communities, within our nation as a whole. So thank you all. And I do look forward to hearing your deliberations. Thank you very much.